Okay, everybody, welcome out to the lager room, guys. This might be a little different for you. See, I probably should have dumped you two out and brought you back in. That part I didn't know. So, this is the first time that I am driving the show. So I forgot to, in these little bubbles over here, you've got to do that and then do that, and then I can bring John in, and then I can bring Efren in. I didn't know that part. But I should probably unmute them at this point, right? There you go. Johnny, Efren, how are you guys doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
So Johnny's Portland Johnny today, because where are you?
I'm at Bunker Brewing right now.
You're at Recnub Brewing.
Good.
Nitro Bitter?
A Nitro Bitter, yes.
Very, very nice. So John's only got a few minutes before the lovely Jess collars him and drags him off kicking and screaming to dinner.
Yes, we have an appointment with a lobster roll that we have to get to. So,
or two. So, John, thanks for jumping on.
Absolutely.
Have a great time there. Be safe up there, because we know it's such a wild, dangerous area.
It's a very wild, dangerous place. With all these people around that like beer and everything else. I got to hold the phone this way. Hold on. One more time, Bunker. We were at Bissell before. We're going to Maine tomorrow. Maine Brewing, that is, not just Maine. We're in Maine already.
Yeah, I was going to say you are in Maine.
And Allagash and Mass Landing and everywhere else on Thursday. So it'll be a good trip. And then we're finishing up in Boston, by the way. So
very nice. Well, there's one thing you need to help me do before you jump off.
What's that?
We need to wish Chuck Aaron a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Chuck Aaron. Our first guest ever on the show.
Was he our first guest ever? I thought our first guest ever was He Who Shall Not Be Named.
No. Chuck was our first guest. He Who Shall Remain First Nameless was our second guest.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure. I usually see when I'm sitting in my office doing the show, I have the luxury of having our chart in front of me, so I can.
And I just pulled the chart up. I pulled the chart up. Chuck was our number 2 guest.
Oh, so the He Who Shall Remain Nameless was our number 1 guest.
This is correct.
There you go. So Chuck was okay. So I take that back. Our number 2 guest. Happy birthday to our number 2 guest ever on the show.
There you go.
5 years ago.
And also, John, since you're heading off for seafood, it is. I want to wish you a happy National Oyster Day. Go get yourself some oysters along with a.
Might have or 2 today. Yes, thank you for letting me know that. Is it also International Beer Day today?
It is not.
Okay, because I got the International Beer Day badge when I checked on Untapped earlier.
International Beer Day badge. International Beer Day. I don't see that on here, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think it was either, but I got the badge, so I'm not complaining. Whatever. But
I didn't think that was coming up till September, but anyway.
Well, the badge was available today.
Alrighty. All right. Enjoy the rest of your trip, sir. Good seeing you.
You got it, Efren. Great seeing you for all of 5 seconds.
Great seeing you, Johnny.
You got it. I'll talk to you soon. We'll talk. We'll do another show at some point.
Sounds
and
good.
I gotta get up to Portland. I'll see you too. So at some point soon too. So you guys have a great show, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care, man.
You got it. Yeah, thanks.
I'm gonna get rid of John. There we go. That was actually quite satisfying. Just kick him out of the show.
Just to knock him out of the. That's great.
No, but I'm saying that just out of jealousy because he's up in Portland right now, and
Right.
But he's not sitting here with you having a beer. Are you drinking? You drinking something?
I just got off my last meeting at work today, and I have not had a chance to crack anything open or pour anything. But I've got my eyeball set on a nice bourbon.
Oh, that's not a bad thing. Maybe I'll join you. But before I do that, I figured I would open something along these lines.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I saved it. This is the Cali Common. So, and I got to do what John does. John likes putting up the stuff that we drink on the show. So there we go. We have the Crawl Providence Brewing Cali Common Steam Beer, 5.7%. So we had this when I was up there. What was it about there? A little over a month ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A little over a month ago, and This is held up beautifully in the pan. That's nice. All that little bit of fruitiness from the malt is still there.
Good.
That's really nice. I need you to help me do one more thing, though. There is another birthday
Sure.
to honor. It is Mars Curiosity Rover's birthday today.
Very nice.
I don't know that it's still operating, but I would have to look that up. But it's apparently its birthday today.
There have been some really nice photographs coming out of Mars lately. I've been a sci-fi and science geek my whole life.
Same. And
yeah.
it's funny because I usually get those feeds, but I think with all the other stuff I've been watching on the internet, hey puppy, who do we got here?
That is Barley.
Barley is Weimaraner or Chocolate Lab?
Weimaraner.
Weimaraner.
Yeah. Sweet
Barley.
boy.
Great name.
Right, when I was married, that was the only name I could give it that wasn't anything else beer related. I couldn't give it. I wanted to give it like Mosaic, or what is it? California 01.
Chinook would have California 01. Chinook would have been a good name.
Oh, Chinook would have been great. Yeah, we almost started with Henry, because it would have been one of those great things whenever he does anything. It's like, oh, Henry.
And that's funny. It's a little. I'm sure not a lot of people will. That's an old school candy bar right there.
Yep.
And what was it? It was very similar to the Payday.
Yeah, it had peanuts, right?
Yeah, it was one of the peanuts. Not like a Snickers. I don't think it had the carrot. I don't think it had the caramel. It was like a rolled nougat chocolate peanut, right?
Exactly.
That was a good one. And if you flatten the thing, it was a what was the patty version of it? It was named after an athlete. Henry was. Oh no, Baby Ruth was also very similar, right?
Yeah, Baby Ruth.
And there was one that was like a patty, and I can't remember what it was. Anybody out there that's listening who knows what I'm talking about?
Was it? It wasn't the Charleston, because that
no.
That one was only edible when it was frozen and broken.
Yeah, and it came in 3 flavors, right? Chocolate and chocolate, vanilla and chocolate, and strawberry and chocolate.
Yep.
So we should in top 3 chocolate bars today. Sounds like we almost did. So we haven't had you on. It's been 2 years since you've been on the show.
I know, it's been kind of crazy.
John's checking to see if I'm actually noticing the messages. So yes, I am noticing the messages, John. Hi, John.
Hey, John.
We just say goodbye to him. He misses us that quickly. He missed us.
He's probably waiting now because he put his order in.
They've got a little bit of a drive to get to where they're going, so he probably is. He's probably in the car doing that. But we haven't had you on, and it's been over 2 years. It's like February of 23 last time you were on the show.
Damn.
And
that's kind of insane.
Yeah, well, if I remember correctly, last time you were on the show, you're just getting ready to shut down operations at the old place.
Yep.
And getting ready to open where you are now.
Yeah, so we shut down in, I think it was October, November of 20, and then the new year rolled around, and we ended up finding our new spot where we are currently at Farm Fresh, right there on Sims Ave in Providence. And then we started construction in 21 and opened up our doors the first week in January of 22. So that was, it was well timed in the sense that at that point, people were finally getting released to be able to go out into the wild after COVID. So it was a fun time. That first year was amazing. So you got me after our completion of roughly our first year, so a year and a month into the start of our second year. and then
That's right.
yep, and then 23 was a bit of a surprise in that I think that after 22, when the summer of 22 rolled around, people were leaving the house and just staying local. The summer of 23, people really started venturing out. So I think everybody in the restaurant, breweries, any kind of service industry really felt the hit, because I think Providence almost kind of became a ghost town because everybody was away on the summer days. But yeah, that opened up my eyes to kind of realizing that post-COVID, breweries were no longer kind of like the destination. You had to really come up with unique opportunities for guests to want to come in. So it became more of an entertainment thing.
Well, you've got that great space that when there's something going on and the market is going on,
yep,
you get a lot of foot traffic.
Yep.
I remember that market. I remember the market. I missed that market. And it was, I was there a month and a half ago, and it was the art market rather than the winter food market,
right?
Because the outdoor market, during the summer, and I don't think we weren't there on the right day for it, so we did miss it. But the winter market used to be where the Met was, or the Met still is. That's where the Met. Well, because I lived in the building attached to that. I had a lot of fun because what I'd do is I'd get up, I'd just put on flip-flops and a robe, and a hat and sunglasses, and I'd look like the dude wandering through the winter market. It was great. It was so much fun, and getting empanadas for breakfast.
You have your White Russian in your hand.
Unfortunately, you couldn't get a White Russian there. You could get what's the coffee roaster there?
New Harvest.
New Harvest, right? New Harvest was in there, and also the bakery, 4-Star Bakery, is in there. And they did the baking there. They did the roasting there. So if I ever had my window open, both those smells would be wafting into my window.
Oh, it's such a great smell.
Oh, it was amazing. I just loved being there. I loved walking through that market. The two sides of.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Whenever New Harvest is roasting, and then next door to us is Red's hot sauce.
And Red's is there?
Yeah, and whenever Chef Deja is putting together, starting to prepare the next new batch that she's working on, it smells incredible because it's just like garlic and all of these incredible aromas roasting. And I every time I smell it, I always think it's like one of my childhood family gatherings where we always had a pig roast, and it's like, oh God, And
the thing is, it's funny because, I'm not sure if everyone knows, you're of Cuban descent. Yes. Carrie's of Cuban descent, and I've always felt that no one cooks a pork better than the Cubans. I actually dared to say that in front of a Puerto Rican once.
Oh my!
And he looked at me and went, "I wish I could argue with you. I really wish I could argue with you."
Yeah, there's something amazing about a pork roast like that. The house used to smell incredible from the day before Christmas Eve. So the eve before Christmas Eve, my dad would start prepping it, and then on Christmas Eve we'd go to my aunt and uncle's house, and then all the family would be together. It was amazing.
Jealous. I've had a few suckling pigs, but never been at like a family roast of, where you just dig into the pig and everyone's fighting over the snout, right? And the jowls and the cheeks, right? Those are the best parts.
Yep. Or just the skin. I mean, the skin alone was just amazing.
Well, there's enough skin for everybody, at least.
Yeah.
But there's only 2 cheeks and one snout. I remember I was at Hofbrau House in Manhattan, and we were on the day where they brought out a roast suckling pig. So they cut it up into these little things, and they had the head just sitting on a plate. And I said, well, can I get the cheeks off the head? And like, you can take the whole head. Like, no one ever takes the head. Like, are you kidding me? So I took the head back to the table, and at this point I was already 2 3-liter boots in. So you can imagine where my head was.
Yeah.
Because I cracked the thing open, I ate the tongue, and then I started eating the brain.
Oh,
so good.
I can't. Nope.
And then there was a bunch of younger kids next to us, and it was a bachelor party, and I made the bachelor have some of the brain with me, and he was he was a trooper.
Good for him.
He was a trooper. Yeah. I don't know if I'd ever do that sober, but I was surprised at how creamy it was. Honestly, I've just grossed out so much of our audience at this point.
Hey, you know what? I mean, it's food, right?
It is food.
Pig's feet are awesome.
I don't think I've ever done the feet though.
Yep.
Never done the feet. Now, when we were talking about you coming on the show, we're talking about some topics, and you started in on it. And that was the post-COVID climate for breweries, and I know that between the time when I lived there and the time I left, there's been some closures. There's been a bunch of closures. Just some of them were just moves, but we got a bunch of closures. But what I found interesting is 3 of them, someone just jumped right into their spot.
Yep.
Right, like Line Cider, you've got Crafted Hope in there now.
Mm-hmm.
They've changed the tap room up. Six Packs closed, and Tragnar.
Mm-hmm.
They're in there. They're doing good stuff.
Yep.
I was impressed by their stuff. And then Beer on Earth shut down, and you've got Origin in there.
You got Origin, and then Sean's location closed down, Revival closed down, and
Right.
Buttonwoods moved, and then Morgan moved into Buttonwoods.
Right.
Or
Who's in
Morgan and Buttonwoods moved into the space.
Right. And Revival, when I was there, Revival had moved from their old space into right near where you are.
Exactly.
Not in Farm Fresh, but just across the entry drive.
Next building over, yeah.
Yeah. And now Buttonwoods is in there, moved out of the that old warehouse with the bombed out parking lot. You took your shocks into your own hands when you went to park back there. And if it had been raining, I saw compact cars just disappear into potholes when it was raining. It's like, oh God, I hope he's got a snorkel.
Oh my God. Yeah, keep your foot on the gas.
No, just keep going, just keep moving. No, but so I found it interesting that you had all these closures, and these were obviously COVID closures.
Yeah, maybe
somewhat.
It could be. Yeah, in some cases, I think. Yeah, I mean, COVID definitely. I'm only speaking for myself. COVID really hit us hard.
When you say us, do you mean your brewery or the Rhode Island brewery?
Providence Brewing Company.
Providence.
And I'm sure. I mean, I think we all experienced that when the height of COVID was in play. But if it wasn't for the work that Gina Raimondo's office had done to kind of craft the language, to make breweries and liquor stores, what was it? I forget the title. Essential. Yeah,
they were
essential
essential
businesses. That was a Hail Mary pass, and thankfully we took advantage of it, and so appreciative of everyone that not only came to our locations but went to everybody's location to kind of keep the business going.
That's what I should have done. I should have worn my Knock It Off shirt.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do. God, that was so funny. Yeah, Knock It Off. Oh my God.
So for our listeners who aren't familiar with what happened in Rhode Island during the pandemic, Gina Raimondo, she would give, there were daily press conferences, Monday through Friday, and when people were still going out and gathering, it was mostly Newport. She was getting mostly pissed at Newport because Newport just felt like, we're going to do whatever we want to do.
Right.
And because it's Newport. And she got mad and yelled, "Knock it off," into the mic because she was so annoyed. And then it was Proclamation. Did 2 beers called "Knock It Off," a double and a triple. Yep. And what's the name of the store? The Frog and the...
what was it? Right there on...
yeah.
Right off the Oak Street.
Yep. I can't remember the name of the store now, but that's where I bought both the shirts that went with them. They collabed with them to do these shirts.
Was it Frog and Toad?
Frog and Toad. Yeah. That's it. The Frog and Toad. Great. If you're ever in Providence and you want a really kitschy gift shop with a lot of Rhode Island themed stuff and a lot of tongue-in-cheek and maybe not safe for work stuff, that's a really good place to go into.
One thing I want to also just make sure, because I think in general the person behind the work that crafted the language for all of our service industry businesses, that from liquor stores to restaurants to bars to breweries, it really comes down to Molly Ogren. She was the one that did the research and proposed the changes to the governor's office, and she's the one that got the work going for that one. Unsung hero in my mind.
And what was her role during?
I think she was working in the governor's office. I'm not quite sure of the role, but I know she's part of the DEM now.
Okay. Good place for her.
Yeah.
But back to some of those brewery closures, because with I know Six Pack wasn't technically a COVID closure. I think Mark was just done.
I don't know. I know. I mean that's been what everybody says, so I kind of go with that one. I really don't.
Well, I remember when I was there, they said that he's there all the time. As a matter of fact, I was sitting in his chair. I said, "Well, if he pops in, I'll give the chair up." That's his chair. He's there. They said they claim that they claim that he's just there to make sure they're not abusing his equipment.
Yeah. So he hangs out at Trackmar, even though he's not,
Yep.
No longer working there. That's great. It really is a great environment to be a part of, whether you're working at your own, or you've retired from your own, or hanging out with people at a brewery. It's just such a great environment to be in. It's such a unique culture.
Oh, it absolutely is. And it's funny because there are a few exceptions here, but from state to state to state, it's very much the same thing, where the brewery owners, the brewers, the beer tenders, they all know each other.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no animosity. And John likes to use the word co-opetition, because there's competitiveness there to a point. Yeah. But the amount of collabs that you see amongst all the breweries in any given state, and then from state to state,
yeah,
it's just amazing. And I used to love to, even though I'm not in the industry other than doing the podcasting, I used to love to volunteer to pour at festivals, because there's no better camaraderie than the setup time before they open the gate.
Yeah,
it's just, you get everything set up and then you just walk around, talk to everybody. You're going to everybody else's tap, pouring their beer, and go, "Ooh, that's actually pretty good," and they're doing the same to you. And it's just really it's your chance to actually reconnect with everybody.
It's amazing how, as a brewery owner, you know your world revolves around the day-to-day operations, your staff, um, the all of the issues that go with owning a small business, um, and you tend to become an isolated individual in the sense that that's all you're thinking about. And you're right, every time you get together at one of these events, it's like, oh my god, I haven't seen you in a year. It's like you
Yeah.
don't really get to see everybody, except for when there's a guild meeting, which I've been guilty of not being able to make in many cases. But visiting. So I live here in South Kingstown, and
Oh, I
I've
like
got
South
a
Kingstown.
yeah, and I've got a handful of breweries, a distillery, that are part of my regular rotation that I like to go and visit.
Oh, what is the so you're talking about, was it Sons of Freedom? What's
Sons of Liberty.
Sons of Liberty. They made a bourbon that I absolutely loved. I can't remember the name. It was something like, it wasn't Resist, but something along those lines. And they don't make it all the time. And I forgot to look for it while I was there. I wanted to pop into Nicky's to see if they had it.
I wouldn't doubt it. Nicky's does, yeah.
Oh, if anybody has it, Nicky's has it.
Yeah.
It's Nicky's. They're the ones that run the Rhode Island Craft Beer Festival down at the fort. They're.
Well,
or is it the other one they run?
I'm not sure. I think they run the one over on at the Waterfire Museum.
Oh, okay, that's right. But yeah, they're very deep into it. Now, the one thing of COVID, we're on that topic, and it's wonderful to be going on. We take our left turns every now and then, and that's what I love to do. Actually, it's usually my job on the show is to make everything go sideways rather than actually stay on topic. But I'll try to keep us on topic here. I'll try to do John's job here. Speaking of Nicky's, during COVID, one thing that amazed me during COVID is the beers that all of a sudden we could get.
Yeah.
Right. Heady Topper hit Rhode Island for the first time. It was on the shelves. Focal Banger was on the shelves. You were starting to see breweries that you've never seen before appear on the shelves. And on one hand, this was great for all these breweries because they weren't selling at the in the tap rooms anymore. So everyone was canning. We had a can shortage.
Yeah, we had to.
Right, you had to can. You had to get it out there. But all of a sudden, and you can't blame the beer stores for all of a sudden wanting to bring these guys in, and you can't blame the consumers for going,
no.
Oh my God, Heady Topper. Boom. I haven't had one of these in years. But in a sense, now you haven't seen a lot of retraction of that. So now shelf space has become an absolute premium. And then how?
Yeah.
Now we know in Jersey how it's impacted our breweries here. How's it impacting in Rhode Island?
I would say it's probably just as cutthroat, right? I mean,
that's where it becomes a competition. Yes.
Right. Shelf space is at a premium. And I think when we think in terms of distribution, that's a conversation for another episode, I guess. It's difficult to compete against some of the bigger names. I mean, Providence Brewing would never be able to compete against even the lowliest of breweries that are being brought in from some other state, California, let's say, and no knock to the brewery, but I mean you're still competing for the same type of beer, same type of shelf space, and instead of being put in a cooler, you end up on the floor somewhere in the back.
Right.
And so I think for us, I mean, the primary goal has never been to get into that level of a retail space, even though we'd love to be at a retail store. But we found that, from the focusing on local craft, it makes more sense for us to be in a local restaurant, a pub, a bar, where there's an opportunity to have more variety. We saw the number of taps increase in many locations from a standard 4-8 to suddenly 12-16, and that's great because now everybody's getting an opportunity to be on a tap handle. So
what are some of your best accounts? Where can people find you? Yeah.
So we went through. So that was a great transition for us when COVID, because we were with, what was it, Craft Guild, and then they had us on a few accounts, and then COVID hit, and because post COVID they went out of business. We just never had an opportunity to really sign up with anybody. But right now, thankfully, we've signed up with a local distributor. So there, it's Sean's company. What is it? Hop and Vine Distributions.
Hop and Vine, right.
Yeah. So we're now starting to kind of like build a portfolio of locations. We did a tap takeover not too long ago over at what was it? At 621 up in Smithfield, Tavern 621, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. I think I remember them.
Yeah, and part of it really comes down to being able to do the legwork of taking our product and just kind of cold calling and showing up at places. So it's now, this is where it begins for us. So I mean, we've primarily focused since after COVID. We've really kind of focused primarily in the taproom sales, and we've done really well. I think part of it now for us is that I want to kind of see the brand finally start to expand itself, since we've really kind of started pushing the brand out there more.
In what way? Like,
so really kind of taking ownership of some of the names of our beers. So like Providence Pilsner, right? I mean,
right.
We're calling it's the city's beer, right? We're the Providence Brewing. We're inside the city of Providence. It's one of the oldest breweries in the state, revival breweries, if you will. We don't have the distinction of like Narragansett, who has been in production for decades.
But they weren't in the state the whole time.
Correct. Yeah. And here we reviving it back in 2016, where we changed the laws in North Providence, and so it's been kind of a growing process. So now we've got some good momentum with our beers. We've got some pretty solid reviews. Hi.
Hey, Barley.
And we've got some of the more local names like India Point Porter.
India Point Porter. Yeah. It's Indian Point, right there by Narragansett.
Yep. What is? I've got Corliss Cream Ale, and Little Roadie.
Little Roadie.
I for me, it's like one of those. It was an obvious. I can't believe nobody's ever taken that. So I'm glad to be the one that has it, and it's been one of our top sellers.
Well, I did pour a second beer. It's Moonbase Alpha.
Ooh, nice.
I'm loving, and I'm really glad I got to drink this on Mark's Curiosity's birthday, because you've got this whole. It's more of a lunar theme. I get that.
Yep.
Well, moon-based kind of gets that a little bit lunar, but still, there's that space theme from one space nerd to the other. This has got an amazing bitterness to it.
Thank you. Yep.
Loving that. This is more West Coast than a lot of beers that you're going to get in New England.
Yep.
Let's face it, it's a dying. You don't find it as much. I don't know. Have you seen, because what we're starting to see in some of the places I've been, and as well as New Jersey, is people are starting to thirst for those pithy West Coast IPAs again.
Yep.
You're seeing that they're good.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's a funny cycle. I mean, everybody was hot and heavy with the very juicy, hop, fruity, kind of tropical aromas and flavors for an IPA, the New England style. What Heady Topper started essentially,
Right.
and now we're starting to see over the past couple of years a transition into not just the lower ABVs, but more of a traditional beer styles. So like the Pilsners, the lagers, things like that are, crisp and clean.
Yep. And as you can see, this one's 5.1.
Yep. Actually, that's an India Pale Lager.
India Pale Lager. Did I read the can wrong?
Yep.
I did. Yeah, I read the can wrong.
So
I can fix this. I have the technology. Hold on. Let's see if I do this.
Bigger, better, stronger, faster.
Oh, we may have to talk about that a little later on when we get to what we're going to talk about. But there we go. India Pale Lager.
Yeah, that one was a fun one to make because it's, again, lagers are, in my mind, they're, like Jack's Abbey. They really kind of have done an incredible job with lagers, introducing different styles of hopping, and really kind of elevating the lager game. And I'm a big fan of a very basic lager, but then that's a clean canvas to add some aroma, some flavor, more bitterness, like you're tasting out of that one, turning it into kind of like a West Coast style,
right?
Bitter. Right.
Well, that is, and it's funny because there was a time where a lot of American lagers always had this kind of lager funk to them, and so a lot of the places that made them, they added hops to it to cover up that funk. But what we're starting to see now, we're starting to see American breweries figure out how to make a clean lager.
Yep.
And we've got some really good lager houses out there now. My favorite being Schilling.
Oh, Schilling, yeah, solid.
They're the kings of lagers and classic styles, European styles. Even Treehouse has gotten into the lager game and killing it.
Yep. Well, I mean, you think about it, it's such a clean, crisp beer, low ABV, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you can dose it up all you want and turn it into a high ABV lager, but you're talking about getting a 4-pack and sitting down and drinking a full 4-pack and still not feeling like you're going to, you can't take or work heavy equipment like mowing the lawn, right? Go ahead.
Well, it's not just that, but you can also taste the next beer.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you're not burning your taste buds out.
Because I'm not knocking this at all, but if I drink a 4-pack of this, I'm not tasting anything after drinking 4 of these.
Right. Yeah.
That's what this is for, though. That's exactly.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm drinking this out of a Coastal Brewer Works so that Johnny's still kind of here with us right now. Just to make sure that he's not completely left out.
And I've got the sticker on my laptop.
Good. Yeah, I dropped off a couple of decals for Efren when I was there. I don't know that I told John that I did so I'll have to remind him. I'll have to let him know. No, I'm really, really enjoying the bitterness of this beer. There's like you got a lot of alpha acids in this one, which is great, and it's almost, I don't know, what were your finishing hops? I'm almost getting like a little lemon at the end.
Yeah, so we'll end it up with some Simcoe and some Citra at the end.
Okay. So the pine and the citrus working together is giving you kind of that makes sense. And then, the Simcoe funk.
Yeah. And since it's a lager, you're going to get a little bit of that sulfurous aroma and flavor. So you're going to get a little bit of that funk that you're talking about.
Well, Simcoe can give that as well.
Yeah.
Simcoe can give a lot of dank when it wants to.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And then like you brought up West Coast. Yeah, I mean, West Coast, was probably the style which I was first introduced to by a friend of mine, who's a home brewer that got me into home brewing. And it was the first true craft beer I ever had, which is a West Coast style, and that was Lagunitas, right?
Oh,
And
yes.
so from that style where it wasn't a Schlitz, which my dad used to love to drink, when in the 70s, it tasted like what beer should be,
Right.
what it could be. Um,
And now we talk about Schlitz, and we would talk about Schlitz as being a beer flavored beer.
Yeah,
So it's like kind of turned around now.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you're starting to see some of the great styles coming back full circle. Um, we tend to at least have one West Coast IPA on tap, and at the very least two or three standard IPAs, East Coast IPAs, ranging in juiciness and clarity and hazy.
Well, it's interesting because right now we're talking about post-COVID and the post-COVID scene, and I think I'm gonna put forward a theory here, but post-COVID is where we started to see people burn out on the NEIPAs. We started seeing people look more for West Coast IPAs, but that's where the lager re-revolution occurred. And I think the reason being is that during COVID, a lot of the breweries, to stay alive, to keep paying the rent, they pushed out a lot of IPAs. Most of what you could get during COVID were IPAs because that was making them money. People who are cooped up, we're going to buy a 4-pack of anything we can get our hands on. I think I'm very much responsible for keeping these guys in business during COVID because they were 4 blocks away from where I lived. So I'd walk there almost on the daily and walk home with 2 4-packs. And drink both 4-packs usually in that day because there was nothing else to do. Usually online in a Zoom call with Jersey Johnny and a couple of other of our friends until about 3 a.m. because none of us got up until like noon the next day because none of us were working.
Right.
You couldn't go anywhere.
You couldn't do anything.
But I think COVID and the brewing habits, for an economic reason, are what burnt a lot of the country out on IPAs.
I would agree. I think when you're locked in like that and you've got limited options. But don't get me wrong. I mean, those limited options were all amazing to begin with.
Yes, they were.
So, it's like, oh darn, I have to have another captain's daughter. Okay.
Oh, great sale! What a great beer! I haven't had one of those in forever. I pretty much subsisted on driving Miss Hazy and Nemesis.
Yeah.
Those were a big part of my diet. And anything else that Rob was going to push out the door during the time. This came out during COVID.
Yeah. That was great. That was so well timed. God, that was awesome.
And it's funny because the people who were in Rhode Island, in New England at the time when this beer came out, and you talk about that beer, they're like, "Oh, he's just busting on Brady." I'm like, no. This was Gronk.
Yeah.
This is when Gronk came back out of retirement to go play with Brady down in Tampa. Yep. They didn't respond to Brady so much. That stung too much. But when Gronk did it, it was fair game and everyone jumped on. And, this one was about Gronk. That was a fun beer.
That's awesome. That was a really good one.
Yeah, this was a key lime sour. That's what they did. Good beer. Now we were talking about the other thing that you wanted to talk about was creativity.
Yeah.
And having had a I just forgot the name of it, Ubi, an Ube beer at your place. Yep. That was, and it's funny because Ube, and I think I told you when I was there. Again, if you go back to Smug, and we'll talk more about them a little bit. But when I first moved in to where I was, my first time to the brewery, it was their first anniversary. and they had done a collab with the the ice cream sandwich shop just down the road from Origin and Moniker. Their name's eluding me right now. It's that ice cream sandwich shop.
Oh, I don't know.
I forget their name, but they had one with ube ice cream, and they did their anniversary beer with that. That was their collab.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I misspoke and said it was PV Donuts, but no, it was actually the ice cream sandwich shop. But I had an ube beer at your place. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
Talk about that one a little bit.
So that one, surprisingly enough, that one came about from so I work a full-time day job as well, and happened to be in Boston at the time, and part of our team meeting or our team building was we were heading into Government Square Center Plaza, and there was an event happening, and there were a ton of vendors, and one of the vendors was selling all natural frozen pops, and one of them was mango, another was blueberry, and they had an ube one, and I was like, I've never had that. Let me try that. And right off the bat, I mean, that earthy flavor, that, you've got this sweetness, but it's also tempered with, that
it's still umami.
It's still very umami, right? But it was so delicious. And then I'm trying it, and then I'm like, boy, this would taste great with blueberry. Can I have that blueberry frozen pop? And then here I am with the purple one and a blueberry one.
What is on your face?
And I'm like, oh, this is great. Yeah, not the best look to have with my hands right there. So anyway,
we're not judging.
But and then I was just trying, and I'm going, okay, and so they also had a banana one, and then I'm like, I'm trying all these different flavors, and I'm like, oh my god, these combinations, the ube, the banana, the blueberry, all three would go great, and so that's kind of where the impetus for the ube, the original ube sour that I did, which was Tiki Yummy, and then the other one that's recently out there right now, which is the just our ube seltzer. Again, all of these incredible flavors. You add the vegan vanilla soft serve to it. You add a little bit of some fresh blueberry puree, and that really just elevates all of that together, and it complements a sour ale. Again, sour ales are incredibly versatile.
Yeah, and if you want to try it, it's Tricycle. Tricycle is the name of the ice cream sandwich shop. So if you really enjoy that ube, get the Tricycle.
Oh my god!
Grab that ice cream sandwich. It is absolutely delicious.
That sounds amazing.
It is fantastic. Yeah. Oh my god! It's ube and coconut.
Oh. Yeah, coconut. Again, yeah. Coconut is one of those that blends very nicely with some great flavors. And I can't wait to try that Tricycle. Okay.
Yeah, you got to give that and coconut. So, as you know, we do the top threes. We'll do ours later. But one of the top threes we had was top 3 adjuncts in beer. John's is maple. Mine is coconut.
So I've got our cream ale, our Corliss cream ale that I blended with roasted coconut. And that one I did as a collab last year, and I brought it back this year again. It's so good.
And it doesn't matter to me if it's coconut or toasted coconut. I prefer toasted coconut. It just gives it a fuller flavor.
It's a whole level.
Yeah, I was just this weekend. We were at Jersey Cyclone Brewing, and they've got an imperial stout out that is cocoa nibs and toasted coconut. It's a Mounds Bar on steroids.
Yes, it's exactly what it is.
So it was amazing. I had to come home with a bottle.
Best candy bar ever.
It's one of my favorites. It's up there. We're back to candy bars.
I don't know.
Back to candy bars.
Well, if you think about it, that's kind of where like a lot of the ideas for some of these incredible stouts are. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. There was it's right at the tip of my tongue. There's one down in Jacksonville. My brother used to be there all the time, and their stout, their annual stout, tasted like a Milky Way. It was just this big, bold vanilla stout, and they did it in such a way that the vanilla came off as nougat.
Oh my God, that's awesome!
So good. And I love my stouts. But we're talking about creativity now. You brought up the subject, and I took that to mean creativity in the brewing of the beer, but I think you actually meant that it was also the creativity in how you present the brewery.
Creativity, yeah, I'm going to say it's both, right? So which one do you want to tackle first?
Well, since we started off with creativity in beer, let's do that, because we were talking about your
bag. So
you've done a lot of other really creative things.
I definitely have fun. I mean, like this Friday we're releasing a lemon meringue, which 100% credit goes to the Three Guys Brew. Those guys are the ones that came up with that idea, and that one is essentially it's a seltzer. It's a hard seltzer.
Okay.
And it's a sour seltzer.
Lemon meringue sour seltzer.
Yep. So it's got
that's creative.
Got
yes.
250 it's got the rinds this oh my God, my hands hurt for days. It's got the rind of 250 lemons. It's got what else did we put in here? We put toasted marshmallow. We put in again. I love the use of vegan vanilla soft serve ice cream, and then of course this was a sour seltzer. Go ahead.
Can I ask you why vegan?
That's a great question, and that one is primarily because it opens up the other folks that are looking for something that doesn't have carbohydrates in it. So it gives them an opportunity to enjoy something that isn't going to bother them.
So it doesn't do anything within the brewing process so much. It's just inclusionism.
It's inclusionism, yeah. So that's all part of we're blending it in once we're in the bright tank. So all of that gets blended afterwards.
So I am crushing your beers here, by the way.
Good.
To the point I'm actually going to open the third. And you just mentioned them earlier.
Oh, yeah. India Point Porter. That is a very creamy, chocolatey beer.
This is a classic. When it comes to Rhode Island beers, as far as I'm concerned, this is one of the classics in Rhode Island beers. And I remember my first time at Providence Brewing at the old place across from the McDonald's in that strip mall that was probably built in the 60s.
Yep.
You guys were down in the basement. I remember having it then. You were out of a lot of beer because Fish had been in the night before, had played the night before, so everyone had hit the brewery and pretty much drank it clean. But I remember having this. You had a brown on that day. I can't remember which brown it was. But this one I remember going, oh wow! And this to me is still one of the classics.
Thank you.
And I just love the smells. You get the cream and you get the roast in the first sniff. Like, I have a question for you, the creativity. Because there are some breweries that really get a little too creative, where they're taking themselves out of the mainstream. And unless they're well established, how do they I don't know how they survive if they get too creative. So talk about the balance. How do you remain balanced between catering to those people, that want the NAIPAs or they want the lagers, and those people like me who've been in it for a long time, like, I want something different.
Right.
I want something that I've never tried before, like an ube sour. Right, when I walked in, I looked at my ube sour for one. That's what I want. That's the first thing I want. I want that ube sour.
Right.
So how do you strike this balance?
So I guess it really comes down to, when you think about it, it comes down to how the brewery perceives itself. I've never been one to think in terms of, we have to do this one style all the time. It has to be this. We can't deviate from that. I look at it as that beer is such an incredible, has an incredible portfolio of styles, origins, and there's an opportunity to try everything. And I don't think I'm ever going to get through the whole, the whole gamut of everything that is beer. I just want to try and see what can we make that is going to be a lot of fun and different, unexpected.
Right.
And I think that's why when I think about it, we're close to what, we're just at the doorstep of 200 different beers that we've put out there.
Over how many years?
Over the past, since 2018.
So 6 years, 200 beers in 6 years.
And that really,
That's
yeah,
impressive.
I mean, and for us, it's just moving kind of, for us, it's always been about,
but falling asleep there, Efren.
yeah.
Yeah, I get
It's
there.
our age, in our 45 plus age group.
Kick me up a bit there, but thanks for putting me in the lower bracket.
Well, I had to push myself down there too. Yeah, I mean, there's too many opportunities to miss out on not trying something uniquely different. And I look at it as, for a brewery that focuses on 6 different styles and that's all they want to do, that's great, because they become the master of that. I look at it as it's every opportunity to make something and test it first and then try it. And if we like it, we put it out there, and it's worth the opportunity to introduce something uniquely different every chance we get. And it's one of the reasons why, when I look at like sour ales are perfect for experimentation. Seltzers are another one, and that's why like we're pushing out the lemon meringue sour seltzer, and we're thinking of it as like most seltzers are crisp, clean, boring. Let's do something
Right.
uniquely different. Let's make it fun, right? Let's kind of like turn it on its head and say, you'll never have anything like this again.
Now, with what you're doing with these seltzers, one of the allures of seltzer is that, yes, you're using the vegan ice cream, so there's that low carb, so you don't get to the stature that you and I have attained drinking a lot of seltzers. We've attained our statures by drinking stuff like this. And I'm going to steal a word from a friend of the show. Your fuckery with these, does that take away from that allure of that low carb, that I'm not going to get chunky off of this?
I love that term, the fuckery.
I can't take credit for that. That is he who shall not be named. Actually, that's his. Word.
It's such a great
we're not allowed to say it 3 times actually, so I can say it. That's Augie Carton's word. Just we can't say his name any more than that. Just say it.
Honestly, that fuckery is the heart of creativity.
Yep.
And it in my mind, does it take away from the chunk? No, I think it adds another opportunity where we've been building our portfolio based on beers. This really is intended to attract the non-beer drinker, and it really is intended to expand the portfolio in a different direction. I've always been a firm believer that beers are like a distilled spirit. I mean, they all have different flavors, different approaches, and they can be.
Speaking of, I thought you were going to drink bourbon.
Because my laptop is on my lap, and I wasn't able to get up fast enough before the show started to get myself situated. I will, and I'll photograph it and I'll text it to you.
We've got to get you something to drink while we're talking here. But at any rate, continue on, and you've got a background there, so I don't think much is going to change if you just get up and
Again, I've told you. I work in technology research.
I know you say you're a Luddite,
but here I am as a Luddite. I didn't even think of that.
I think you can manage this. We're not going to. The background shouldn't change. We should be able to pull this off. Because I always feel bad when we're on the show and someone's not drinking for one reason or another. We've actually been on the show where John has pretended to drink, but he was on because he was on antibiotics for something. So he's got iced tea and he's pretending to drink beer. And of course, being the friend that I am, called him out on that.
That's what we do as friends.
Yeah, everyone. That's what you got to do. Like they said, someone doesn't know you. If you fall down, they're going to help you up. A friend's going to help you up and ask if you're okay. Real friend's going to laugh at your ass and go, walk much.
Right. That's the whole point right there. That's the thing about a best friend.
Yeah, you got to make fun of each other.
So yeah, I mean, creativity for that in that sense, if we're still on that, I think I look at it.
No, of course we're still.
I look at it from the point of view of, and it, I give lots of credit to my brewer Mark, who's taken over the day-to-day operations for me from the brew house point of view. I give him credit because he puts up with a lot of mud.
What are you drinking there? What's
so I've got Colonel E.H. Taylor small batch.
Oh, damn, that's a good one.
And
man knows his bourbon. Oh, it's good. That's one of those that is really good with a cigar, but
right. Yeah, I know. I haven't gotten and there's a really good cigar shop down here, over by Gansett.
What was that? Oh, okay.
I
don't remember that one. But then again, I had to stop smoking cigars. We can thank COVID for that one. It left me with little lung damage, so I can't even smoke cigars more.
Oh man, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. It's you do. Cheers. Oh, I love that old school glass. Now with the so creativity is back to that. There's been many breweries through the years who have decided to mess around with something. Take this, and what they've done is they've invented a whole new style. Have we exhausted new styles? Do you think there's any room out there to ever come up with a new style, or is it just really sub-styling something that everything right now is sub-styling anything that exists, but where can anyone go where they're going to make a style that actually sticks, like the black IPA?
Right.
Which we know is a contradiction in terms. You can't have a black India pale ale. This doesn't make sense, but we know what they mean by it. But do you think there's any chance anybody's ever going to be able to invent a new style that sticks?
So you bring up a good point, like a black IPA, Revival's Never Been or Double black IPA. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't see it as the opportunity of running out of beer styles. I think looking at some of the brewers that I know, and seeing what they're doing, I don't think there's a lack of creativity at all. I think there's always room for a new style to emerge, right?
Okay.
I don't think we can. I don't think there's no possibility in my mind to see um, styles just kind of getting stagnant and that's it, right?
Right. Do you think that brewers nowadays are striving to be that next progenitor of a new style,
Uh,
or they just like, I'm just going to try this. I'm just going to try this. I'm going to try this. And if it's and they're not even thinking about throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing if it sticks.
that's a great question. I don't know. I mean, for if I look within, I think we're that type of brewery that is not afraid of throwing a new idea at the wall, and whether it sticks or not, we know that we tried it.
Right.
And for us,
But your aim's not necessarily to coin a new style.
no. I mean, I really have yet to see a fruited ice cream sour hard seltzer like what we're doing made by anybody.
Interesting.
Right.
Interesting. But will it become a style that people start to emulate?
Well, maybe, but that'd be kind of cool. But I also look at it as, what seltzers is the base ingredient to add things to. So that's one of the reasons why we have our frozen machines, because a base seltzer that we make, that can be layered, and you can add, purees, you can add ice cream, you can add peanut butter to it, you can add all of these different flavors to a very almost neutral, not a spirit, but almost like saying a neutral spirit, right? Like a vodka or something like that it's very blendable.
And vodka becomes gin or becomes aquavit or so many other things it could become.
Right. So there's opportunity for still the the expansion and creation of a new style.
Yeah, because we joke around a lot on the show about the way things are going and how crazy people get with some of these things. We joke about the barrel aged smoked sour fruited seltzer. It's like you're just taking the epitome of maybe taking things a little too far.
But that sounds exciting.
So,
right?
Right. And it's something, if I walked into someplace, and if I were a seltzer drinker, and if you could, my belly is down here and it's huge, you would realize I'm not a seltzer drinker. But if I were, or even if that was like a beer, like I want to try that. No, because I've never had anything like that.
Look, when we started putting beer on a frozen machine, I mean, we weren't the first ones to do it here in Rhode Island. I'm going to give credit to Proc for having that.
I say Proc,
right?
Yeah.
I saw it when I was down in Florida with my family, and we happened to be at a local restaurant. Sorry. We happened to be at a local restaurant, and up on the wall,
Barley's doing his job.
And up on the wall were just a bunch of ice cream machines, but they had, instead of like alcohol, they had beer in them. And I was just like, oh my God, there's a frozen, which one was it? Buddha. It was an IPA.
Oh, Funky
Buddha.
One of their
IPAs, frozen, and it was like with cranberry juice, and I'm like, that's unique. And I was like, okay, let me try that. And then as I'm trying these different little things, I realized, okay, some beer styles don't lend themselves well to be frozen, but what beer styles do? And that's where it kind of started rolling in my head. It's like sours.
You imagine IPA, not so much, but sours absolutely.
Sours absolutely. Porters, stouts, right?
In Florida, there's a business called Hippo, HIPPO, and they do frozen bars, and they actually collab with a lot of the breweries and do ice bars, frozen, whatever, with their stuff. And the one that I was talking about, that was the Milky Way stout. And I wish my brother would kick my ass, because since I can't remember the name of the brewery, because it was one of his favorite breweries in Jacksonville. They're still there. They moved. They're right near the stadium now. So I could probably easily jump on a map and find them. But they would do not just that, but they'd do a bunch of their other stuff in popsicles. That's the word, popsicles. And they were just their popsicles to begin with are imaginative, but working with the breweries the way they do, so they did them in popsicle form.
I that to me is taking something so standard, right? Grab a beer,
right?
Freeze it, because I mean, you had, what was it, Miller Ice, and you take a beer, you freeze it, you turn it into something that is outside of its norm. I mean, we also do shave ice beer. I mean, we'll do a shave ice sour, and that, I mean, it's again taking something that people are used to receiving it in one way and introducing it in a completely different way makes it fun. And that's, again, creativity now on the business side from the brewery point of view. Whereas there's creativity with the product itself. Now you're looking at creativity from the actual establishment. And I think that's where the opportunity still is available for breweries. Because, again, like I said, I look at a lot of our products as a base ingredient for creativity. And if you're willing to take that chance and say, you know what, we not only have standard beers, we'll have room temperature beer, we'll have frozen beer, there's everything you can do with it. Again, beer is such a open playing field for creativity.
Now, one of the things that we knock on a little bit on the show is, and I don't know how much this falls into creativity or not, where you've got a lot of breweries, they take one basic recipe, the malt bill's the same all the time, and all they do is keep swapping up the hops.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, that's not very creative.
No, that's a monetarily driven variation.
Right. And a lot of people love it. A lot of people buy into it. That's fine. For me, that's not for me. I look for more from a brewer than just mixing up hops in the same recipe over and over.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking for. Now, another thing you brought up was, I think you phrased it, we're all entertainers.
We have to.
Explain that, though. Where are you talking about being an entertainer?
So the best example I can give you, like, Morgan does an incredible job of putting forth this persona online. He'll do these things with his cans. He'll, like this last one where he was wearing it was just one of the most recent ones that he did. And there was it's like he's putting himself out there. He's being, connecting with the community, being creative, and just enjoying being in that forefront.
So you're talking the social media.
Yeah. Right. So in that sense, he's doing a great job of that. And oh my God, I've only had 2 big pulls and I'm already feeling it. What were we talking about again?
The being an entertainer, making sure you're out there on social media.
Yep.
You've got to get yourself in the face of everyone out there, because it's a competitive field. Not to keep talking about Smug, but I remember one of the things they did the cranberry sour. And you remember Andrew, the Alaskan Adonis that used to work for him with the long hair, They had him on a skateboard going past the brewery to Dreams from Fleetwood Mac, drinking the cranberry sour. And I'm sure that stuck with everybody. And it was great because he's going and his long hair is flowing and all that. He's just really. Apparently, it took like about 7 or 8 because his hair kept going into his face. But that's the thing; you have to entertain, and they were going off of that, and they were riffing off of that that Ocean Spray commercial,
right?
That they ran. It was an Ocean. It wasn't an Ocean Spray commercial. It was just a guy who put it up on social media. And wound up Ocean Spray, gave him like a lifetime of cranberry juice for doing it because it was so perfect, and they played on that. But so Morgan's your brewer, right? Or is he?
No. Morgan owns Buttonwoods Brewery.
Morgan does.
Yeah. My brewer is Mark Stone.
Mark, and I got to meet Mark when I was there briefly. He came in. So now, what are you doing on social media? Morgan's always over there doing that for Buttonwoods. What do you?
So I focus. So I focus primarily on capturing the beer at its, in a moment.
Okay.
Kind of capturing not just the style, but also I'm driving for what the beer means, what it can be to someone. I'm also looking at it from thinking in terms of I've got to have that, so desirability,
right?
And that's where I think in many cases I'll
so every now and then you will have like a wardrobe malfunction during the.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, if that were the case, it would be down by my hip. Right. Well, I am. I'm a 45 pluser. So yeah, things aren't as firm as they used to be. They're more elastic.
Yeah, I'm almost getting to the point where it's like, you know what? Maybe what you call make not a bad idea after all. I just forgot what they're called. Suspenders.
Yeah. I haven't gotten there yet. Thank God. I mean,
I'm still I resisted readers for the longest time. So,
yeah, creativity from our point of view is really kind of focusing in on that feeling you get when you crack open the beer the first time, the sound, the memory. You're playing with someone's memory by playing. What it looks like when it's pouring into a glass. I'm one of those. I think for me, putting myself in front of the camera, I've never liked that of doing that. I mean, simply because it's not about me, and I prefer to do it about the beer,
But you need a face for the brewery.
You do, and I think the face. I mean, look at this. I mean, I've got a face for
nothing
radio.
wrong with it. No, not at all. Well, here's the thing: when we were there, before you came in, I think we got there about 15 minutes before you showed up. The lovely lady that served us is one of your daughters.
Yes.
And you said both of your daughters like to help out. So now they're in that generation. They know how social media works. They know what works. Yep. How much do they help you with this?
0.
Have you? But is it on you? Have you not asked them? Have you not asked their advice and say, hey?
Oh, I do. I'll run. Okay. So I'll run an idea past them, and I'll just get a sense from. That's okay, Dad. That's cool. Or yeah, wow, that's pretty neat.
There's your gauge, right? Okay.
Right. So, I mean, but then again, that's that. It's kind of a tough call because they're in that generational phase where they're not quite old enough to have experienced life, but they're still young enough to know what's still cool.
Right.
And Dad's not cool. Never been cool.
No, you'll never be cool.
No. Damn it. I guess I got to return my purple leather jacket.
No. That's you. You need to do some. You need to do some videos of the purple leather jacket. I need to see those.
I don't have one. Trust me.
I didn't believe for a moment that you did.
Yeah. And so for us, I like to. My creativity, I think, comes out. So I'll put all the photography together. I'm taking all the studio photography. I'm doing all the video editing. I'll do that, and I think the creativity comes out. And this is where I'm saying, from an entertainment point of view, and post-COVID, is that we'll host a lot of trivia events. We'll do murder mysteries. We'll do.
Oh, those are fun.
Yeah, and I'll put all of everything that we're producing in-house. I'll put them all together, and that's where the creativity comes out of it, because it's how do you bring the brand into the story of the event,
right?
And for years, my twin brother Nerfy has been.
I've experienced Nerfing on social media before. Yes,
has been the favorite child, and so he started. Of course, he had to have started his own entertainment business, and does all of our production work for us. He does no wrong, bastard.
Yeah, Nerfy's so much cooler than you.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, he's
the
one with the purple leather jacket.
He looks great in anything.
Which is amazing because you're twins.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I mean,
yeah,
we've got this as the self-proclaimed Luddite to the stud that is Nerfy.
Right. I mean, look what I look like in this Hawaiian shirt. He pulls it off.
Well, he doesn't button the top button. I think that's a big part of it.
No, that's because I have a fat neck.
But you got to show
it's
it.
Not the top. This would be me with the top button.
Oh, it's not
I think I'm going to lose consciousness pretty soon.
Yeah. No. Okay. Undo that, please. You're turning blue.
I feel like one of those.
You're turning as purple as Nerfy's leather jacket there.
I'm like
I've got a few of those myself. I had to go up a size when I ordered my Hawaiian shirts, and I have a lot of them actually. I love them. Oh, I love them too. Actually, I actually got into true vintage Hawaiian shirts, and true vintage being before 1950, before Hawaii became a state. You're going to spend a lot of money if you get into that, unless you know how to look for them.
I don't. So.
Oh, I learned how to look for them. There's a guy who wrote a book on it, how to identify the labels. I started communicating with him. Then I started working with somebody else in Hawaii to find these things. And then at one point, I get a message from the lady in Hawaii, and she's got this one shirt that doesn't have the label anymore. She goes, "Well, what do you think this is?" So I said, "Well, my experience, I think it's from this designer. The print done by this person who was a Japanese person who had emigrated to Japan." And she's like, "Well, Craig, the guy who wrote the book on identifying true vintage," goes, "Yeah, he agrees with you." And that's when I realized I've gotten far too deep into this, where the experts are now asking my opinion. I'm obviously spending way too much money on Hawaiian shirts, and
no, you can't spend enough.
No, I've got some beautiful ones. And that's a lovely one that you've got there. I love that one.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the tablecloth at the Polynesian Hotel back in '94.
Well, you did some beautiful tailor work on it.
Thank you.
It's
more of a muumuu.
That's like, I'd have to get at least like a 6X to turn it into a muumuu for me. But no, back to what we're talking about. So we went over post-COVID breweries. And I want to jump back to that briefly and just talk about the shirt I'm wearing, because Smug's talking about closing.
Mm-hmm.
And,
it's a generation of brewers, man. I mean, that's the second generation of brewers.
Yeah, right.
You got
And
Shades On. You have Smug.
the last show I wore my Shades On shirt. And Shades On was one of the first to go after COVID. No, they weren't. Not true.
No. They
That was just recently, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That they closed. And I was so embarrassed when I first went there, because it's SHAIDZON, and they've got that whole like I Ching kind of thing going in their logo and all that. So I asked them, "What's the significance of Shades On?" And the beer tender looked at me and went, I went,
Yeah, right.
"Are you fucking kidding me?" He goes, "That's all it is, man." Like, I feel
Yep.
had. I feel so had.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we lost them. We lost Line Cider.
We lost Revival.
Revival's gone.
That was
what other brewery you got to go into and watch Star Wars all goddamn or Lord of the Rings all day long?
Right. Sean was the person that really defined what craft brewery was here in Rhode Island in my mind.
Really?
Yeah. His imagination, his ability, I think were incredible. He was also, or is, one of those few human beings that willingly give of themselves, expect nothing in return.
And you see that a lot in the craft beer world, actually.
Yep. Yeah, you see that because, those are people that have come up from the home brewing environment, right? Because everything is about sharing, everything is about helping, everything's about growing and improving.
Collaboration.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then with, seeing that Ravenous, Dorian, they're going to be closing.
Oh, that's right. Ravenous is closing too. And I remember when Ravenous moved. I remember the where they were to begin with in that was like right at the border of Woonsocket and Cumberland. I think they were actually technically Woonsocket, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
I always used to refer to that spot as the Murder Shack. Seriously, look at that place. It's like when John first went there, him and Jess drove from the parking lot 3 times until they noticed a door within those little, like, those.
No, they were in Pawtucket.
Was it Pawtucket?
Yeah, they were across the street, or lit almost like a stone's from Bucket.
Oh, so that was their first spot. So their second spot, they moved up to Woonsocket.
Their second spot was over in Cumberland.
Cumberland, right on the border, right on the border there. In the same complex that I thought of as that had one of the worst pizza places in the history of pizza, All-Star Pizza, I believe. At any rate,
never been.
But you go around there and it's just a door with like these, those like little metallic stick-on letters from Home Depot that said Ravenous on it. And so you park and you're really concerned because you're looking at this tin extension off of this old warehouse building. And you open the door and you walk in and like, this is cool.
Yeah.
The interior was so friggin' cool.
It was amazing. And it just didn't seem to end. It was like you walk in, you see where all the brewing equipment is. Then you see a hall. Then you look, and there's another hall.
Oh no, you're talking on the one that was on the eastern side of Cumberland.
Yeah,
I'm talking about there was a space in between that was like on the border of Woonsocket and Cumberland.
Oh,
that was the smaller. It was a much smaller place, but it had a lot of character to it.
Oh yeah, that was the original location in Pawtucket, right?
No, not Pawtucket. No, it wasn't Pawtucket. That was Woonsocket. It was in Woonsocket. Right. It was not too. So that one like business complex where all the CVS offices are. So that's like a big horseshoe,
right?
And on the western side of that horseshoe,
Dorian's going to kill me. I just know it. He's just going to kill me.
If you just go a little off just went a little to the side there, that's where Ravenous was. And I remember there's just down the road there's a great deli in Rhode Island. I think they've got like 4 different locations. I can't remember their name right now, but
Jay's,
that's it. And while I was there, because that's where I worked. I worked up in that complex, not for CVS, for somebody else who was at the top of the complex. That's why I was there all the time. I ate every sandwich they on their menu.
Oh my God.
There were some of them that were a little questionable, but most of them were so damn good.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh God, I think I gained a lot of weight when I was doing that. But
Dorian is another gentleman that was part of that original group of brewers that had established craft brewery in Rhode Island. I mean, then you had Nick, obviously from Foolproof. You had the guys over at Newport. They were the ones that really opened up the opportunity to say, well, I can be a brewery too. And it wasn't until when the law changed back in 2016 that allowed breweries to have a tasting tap room, where guests can come in and pay. That's where that second generation, which I'm part of, came into being. And it's been incredible. But I think that's where I'm saying it's like this generation that I'm part of, pre-COVID, we had a heady times, if you will, and then COVID came, and we're now seeing kind of like the net result of what COVID has done to us as individuals. Kind of thinking in terms of, well, if I'm going to go out, I need a reason to go out.
Right. And
I think that's where breweries have to be very creative in how they attract customers. And it means, just being very creative, not only with their portfolio, but it also means being creative with how they present their portfolio. The other approach is, that we've become entertainers. Like I was saying, it's that not just on social media, but we have to think in terms of how do we get footfalls into the brewery aside from the beer. The beer shouldn't necessarily be the driver. There has to be something else. Okay. And that driver is kind of like bringing those events in. And that's where we saw in 2023 and 24 that push where there's a lot of companies that are doing events like speed dating or trivia.
Yoga is another big thing in the breweries, which befuddles me. Let's gas everybody up and put them into positions that's going to release that.
No, that's it. It's the other way around. Let them sweat it out, and then provide them with the.
Do the yoga first. Yeah, that probably makes more sense.
The caloric relief.
It would be, but filming the beer first, then yoga, I think would be a lot more entertaining. Because I really think they would come up with now back to creativity. There'd be some positions they would come up with that probably the yogis had not thought of. You've seen all those things about Irish yoga, right? All the people passed out. Oh yeah, Irish yoga are people passed out in positions that could be yoga positions. Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm surprised you haven't seen those.
Oh my God. That's Scottish yoga to me.
Scottish, yeah. Either way, somewhere in the British Isles.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So now you talk about these events to bring people in. What events are coming up with Providence?
For Providence, so we've got we just had a murder mystery, Pirates of the Caribbean murder mystery this past
Providence
week.
Brewing.
Yeah, and Nerfy is the one that puts them together, and it was a sellout. I mean, it was amazing. And prior to that, we had another one that he put together, which was the Love Boat, which was a murder mystery. Murder in the Mediterranean, if you will. And then that one. So we've got another murder mystery coming up. It's Friends murder mystery. That's in 2 weeks. More than a week.
So so does Nerf? Does Nerf? Does he theme the murder mysteries on TV shows?
It could be based on anything. So right now he completed.
I think we're having a little
I'm
bit
talking
of
about Nerf
issue here.
How's this? Any better? Do I look like Kid from Kid and Play with
it's
my
mostly
high
on
top
my end,
fade?
Efren.
Okay.
There we go. I like the high top fade. But what I was saying, I probably froze there. So you're saying that Nerf is putting together the murder mysteries. Now, does it usually do it on TV show themes? Is that what's going on there, or?
We'll do it on TV show themes.
Do they bring in? Do you bring?
Like an outside company to do it? No, it's all internal.
Okay.
Yeah. He'll host it. He'll be one of the characters.
All internal? Okay. Yeah, so you're not bringing in actors or anything to play the roles, or?
No. We hope that, and for example, like the pirate theme we did for this past week, our customers, our guests, came dressed in as pirates, as scallywags, as wenches. It was fantastic.
That's close to my heart because one of my favorite holidays of the year is International Chocolate Pirate Day on September 19th every year. Love that. I'm actually
Rhode Island has an incredible history of it.
Rhode Island's got an incredible history, period. Yes. Yep. Yes, they do. I'm actually going to be in the San Francisco area this year for International Chocolate Pirate Day. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to partake in too many of the events out there because it actually started out on the West Coast. So
that's awesome.
All right.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things because we talk at the beginning of every show. I do the whole, it's National Oyster Day today and all that. But I do keep a calendar of all of the little things. It's right here. This is why I'm doing this because it's right on this wall right here. If I turn this, just like this, should be able to see it. That's it right there. But I do this every single month, and I keep track of these things. So when we have particular, sometimes every now and then, all the stars align. We have one of the really cool observations on a Tuesday. Like in September, I think Beer and Wings Day will be on a Tuesday. So, and who doesn't love beer and wings? That's just a natural pairing. You find it in the wild. They run together in the wild. So that'll be a good thing. But I apologize to today. That was only National Oyster Day was the big thing today. It was Green Pepper Day, but to me, green pepper is not really. It's a pepper. Yeah, it's kind of meh. I prefer more robust chilies.
Yeah, something with a bite.
Yeah, like a habanero, or even all the way up to Reaper. that's a bit of a bite for a lot of people.
Oof.
I prefer anchos and chipotles. Are some of my favorites. Smoke those chilies. All right, so. Anything else you want to bring up about the brewery? What you guys got going? What's going on with you?
I think part of it right now is since we've started working with hops and vine as our distro, it's really kind of focusing in on nailing down some of the more local places that we want to work with. Okay. My dream ultimately would be to be able to work with Nikki's Liquor. That would be awesome.
I could walk to Nikki's from where I lived, but I never did because I knew that I couldn't walk back with everything I bought.
Well, I got to tell you, so when I lived in Providence, they were down by the Shaw's Plaza originally.
Oh, okay.
I used to love going there almost every day just to see something new that came in from California. And when they moved to their Branch Ave location, it was just like, oh, right? It was amazing. So I've always dreamed that
parking got better.
Parking got better. and you just, I didn't know if I was parking, and blocking one of the firefighters' parking spots, or if I was in the right spot. So,
And that was a very oddly lined parking lot too, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
It was really kind of strange. So there's times I was parking, I'm like, this certainly has to be a drive-through portion of the parking lot. Why is this a parking spot? This makes no sense to me.
Oh man, I swear, like, I think to me it's one of those where if you get into Nicky's, you've made it, right?
Yes, there was. I bought a lot of Nicky's. Actually, the whiskey I was talking about from Sons of Liberty, the last bottle I had of that was from Nicky's. My first bottle that I actually bought at the distillery. Actually made it down there. That's another thing that got lost after COVID. Talking about down in that area, that upsets me. Not too far from Shades On, actually, was Tilly's. Tilly's was lost.
Right. Oh my God.
Because when we came up to Rhode Island. I'm so happy we got up to Rhode Island so I could get there one more time before Smug closed. But also, part of it was, go see Efren. It's a shame that Nerfy wasn't there.
I think he might have been like in
lurking somewhere.
Yeah,
he's always lurking about, isn't he? But part of that trip, it's like, Carrie was like, the last time we went up. Prior to that, I had taken her to Tilly's, and she's like, being from New Jersey, not too far from Philadelphia, going down the Jersey Shore and getting cheesesteaks all the time. She's like, we're going to Rhode Island. You're taking me to a cheesesteak spot. I'm like, you have no idea. and she still talks about it when I told her. She's like, so we're going to go to Tilly's when we go up. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, wait a second. Oh my God, they closed.
I know.
No.
The Quencher is now in that spot.
Well, what is the Quencher?
It's let's see. So what is the Quencher?
So I remember during COVID going in, you'd place your order, and then when you got there, you had to text them what parking spot you were in.
Yep. And
they'd come out. And the best part about during COVID is not only could you order your cheesesteak, they had a lot of local canned craft beer.
Yep.
So I'd get a cheesesteak and 4 beers, and yes, that ratio is probably way off. But I would drink 2 of them, and I didn't drink them in the car, maybe half of them in the car. But then the others would come home with me.
Yeah, so they're an Italian American restaurant.
Because that's what the world needs, another Italian American. I know, no offense to Italian American restaurants, but
this Cuban cooks primarily Italian, so I'm happy.
Which is interesting because the Cuban that's in the other room cooks primarily Italian as well. So that's why we don't eat Italian out a lot because of that. But that's but yeah, the loss of Tilly's. I remember the first time I took her, we picked up Tilly's. We went to that cemetery that's got the vampire.
Yep.
Buried there. I can't remember her name right now, but Lovecraft wrote about her in one story. It was based on her. And so sitting in that cemetery eating cheesesteaks next to the vampire grave, she was quite happy. And so the loss of Tilly's really kind of hurt. So a lot has changed. A lot has changed since I left, and I kind of blame myself for leaving and not, pumping money into a lot of these places.
Well, I think there's a correlation to be made, leaving and things, changing. So, I think in order for things to return back to normal, you need to move back.
I'm not open to that. I would. I refer to Rhode Island as my second home state. The thing about being there during COVID is there was really nothing else to do except for drive all over the state. And the one thing that Rhode Island is known for is their residents not driving all over the state. If they've got to drive more than half an
my
hour,
God.
they've got to spend the night. Because that's forever.
Oh my God.
And Efren can correct me if I'm wrong, but there are cars that have bumper stickers on them that says this car never leaves Rhode Island.
Well, there are cars that have bumper stickers that say that this car never leaves Cranston. Nothing against Cranston, right? But
you're right.
Why would you leave Cranston? It's got everything.
It does. And most of the town, a lot of the towns in Rhode Island do. When we were up there, we stayed in East Providence, and we realized that the road that we're staying on, they had closed it down, one end of it down, and we couldn't figure out why. So we walked down the street to see what was on, and the list just was having a festival. And we're like, okay. So we wandered around the festival. We bought some tokens for beer, and that was like the first time I'd ever drank a Budweiser in like 30 years. But I did it for a church, so I consider it a sacrifice that'll help me get me into heaven. I'm hoping. I'm hoping that's the case.
Meanwhile, the priests are drinking like aged, Belgian beers.
Out of chalices.
Yeah. The body and blood of Christ. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm a recovering Roman Catholic, so
that's a great way to put it. But no, this was awesome. We had we went and we got what's the fried dough that they put the powdered sugar on? Portuguese fried dough.
Oh, that I don't know.
Oh, we got a couple of those. We got some meat on a stick because nothing says street festival than meat on a stick.
Meat on a stick.
You got to get meat on a stick, and the meat on the stick we got the chicken. It was so good. So that was a lot of fun.
Portuguese food is so good.
So damn good. We're actually we're possibly planning a Portugal trip this year. You were bringing up Belgium. We're in what's the date today? In 16 days, we jump a plane to go to the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg.
Oh my God!
Shut up, liver. It keeps complaining because it knows what it's in for. It's not going to be fun for my liver. It's going to be a lot of fun for us, though. But no, I miss my second home. I really, really do. So we try to get up there as much as we can. And the problem with us leaving on the 20th is I would have loved to have gotten up one more time to say goodbye to Smug. Because when I was there, I didn't realize they were closing. So I got Allie, who was the beer tender when I first walked into the place, was the beer tender when we were there last. So I would have been able to say goodbye, but maybe it's better that way, right?
That's going to be a huge hit.
They filled this one. It's kind of a gap between Providence and then when you get over into. You just mentioned them earlier. I just forgot their names.
Rabbit.
No. Closer to them. I forgot their name. And that's turning into dead air, and I should probably not do that. But you mentioned there's one of the one of the OGs, one of the ones that before the second generation.
Yep.
Was there?
You're talking about Foolproof?
Foolproof, yes, Foolproof.
Yep.
And around the corner from them as well. So they kind of filled that gap.
Yep.
And they took over from Bucket Brewing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's real.
That was a great brewery. Well, it was a great brewery. And I mean, their Bucket Pale Ale was kind of like one of those first local ones that I ever had.
Well, we'll see because almost every other brewery that's closed there, someone's jumped into their place, taken over the equipment.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about many of these locations. Excuse me. I mean, so you look at Six Pack, Turnkey.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. That cuts down that cuts down the whole build out phase for a lot of places. I mean, that's a year-long process. I know because I've done it twice. And you take on an existing operation that that you can just turn around your licensing with the TTB within 6 months, and you're up and running.
And I can imagine because you talk about that build-out phase. I can imagine what Ragged Island had to go through to build that building out into a brewery. This was a garden center. It was a garden center, and they had to turn it into a brewery. And the spot is, they've kept so much of the character of the garden center itself. They've got the greenhouses there. You can drink in the greenhouse, and apparently still buy plants. But the property is entirely changed. They got the gazebo out there. They've got the food trucks. Where the growing fields used to be. It's really something else what they did there. I'm really impressed with what they did with the property. But I can't imagine that build out. But you're right. This turnkey operation. So, if anyone's listening and wants to be in Rhode Island owning a brewery, and people have said to me, like, oh, why don't you do it? I'm like, one, I'm probably wouldn't be that good at brewing, first of all. And second of all, I like having a life. I like traveling. When you own a brewery, you don't get to travel. You're pretty much shackled.
No, well, that's not true. You do get to travel, and you can expense it as business expense, simply because everywhere you go there's a brewery.
This is true.
And I happened to be in Greece this past summer, and I got to experience local Greek beer, which was phenomenal. You want to talk? Yeah. So one of the let me just see if I can,
because Greece is on our list to visit as well. So when it comes up, Efren, I'm going to be calling you going, okay, I need notes.
So Santorini.
Santorini has a brewery?
Santorini has a brewery. And the beer that I had was Lazy
Ass. I like that.
Yeah. Again, there are so many craft breweries. On an island like Santorini, where space is whoa, look at me. I'm just a floating.
I know. It's like you're kind of like fading into your background here. It's getting very trippy. Because when we went to Munich last year, I wanted to do the show from a brewery. So being able to do it from Schneider, probably never happening. Doing it from Anger, that's not happening. So I was reaching out to some of the craft breweries there, and one of them, the owners were originally from New Jersey.
Oh, that's great.
Higgins Ale Work is in the shadow of the Paul Lanner Lovenbrow Brewery, which is it takes up blocks and blocks and blocks, and they're literally in the shadow. When the sun rises, the brewery blocks the sun to Higgins. It's not until about somewhere around 11 a.m. where Higgins actually gets some sun. So, and it was really cool. We did the show from there. We had a really good time with him. But yeah, so Greece, Santorini has.
Yeah. One. Athens had some really good beer, local beer. Santorini, Mykonos had some awesome beer. Turkey had some great stuff.
You got Turkey in on there too. Cool.
Yep. Yeah, and then Sicily, there was nothing wrong with Sicily, man.
I can't imagine there would be anything wrong with Sicily, except for the fact that their volcano's exploding right now. It's calming down. It's calming down a little bit, but yeah.
And we got to walk it, so it was kind of cool. It's funny. It's like you talk to the folks over at Messina, and they're like, oh, yeah, this happens almost every week. It's like nothing new for us.
Yeah, there's lava over there. That's fine. We just walk around it.
Watch out. There it is. Right?
That's cool. All right. Well, why don't we move to our top threes? And our top threes, awesome. And Efren and I were talking about this earlier, and Efren came up with this one, and I like this one. And I was really surprised that John and I have not done this one yet. It is top 3 favorite television shows. So television shows. I think that means television, and
it's in Russian. Television. Television shows. Comrade.
There we go, and we have fixed it. There we go. our top 3 favorite television shows. You are the guest. You have honor. You go first.
All right, since I've already had a few sips more than I should, I'm gonna start off with saying kind of like my number 3 down to number 1. Number 3, I have held out for the longest time on Game of Thrones. Years I held out because it took me
Same.
It took me years to get through the first 3 episodes.
Really?
And yeah, oh my God. I'm talking probably close to like 20 years. I don't know how long this show's been out there, but I think it's taken me just as many years as it's been out there to finally get through the first 3 episodes. And after that, hooked completely. Hook, line, and sinker.
And how pissed off were you at season 8?
I was disappointing with the ending, period.
I think most people were. A lot of people were pissed off about it, but yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was pissed off. I would say, you know what? It was kind of nice to see, the last remaining Snow/Stark kind of decide, I'm not going to listen to what they told me to do. I'm going to go with my people. Okay, great. Right now, I'm watching the
House of Dragons.
House of Dragons.
Yep.
So I'm loving that.
I love that there's a Doctor Who in that one. One of the guys that plays Doctor Who is a
don't spoil it for me.
No. He's one of the main characters. Played a Doctor Who.
Is he on the Little Council?
He's the cousin who's messing around with the main character with the long white hair. He's a Doctor Who.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll have to take a look.
I can't
and that was so I stopped watching Doctor Who when it was on PBS. And that was
Tom Baker.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the last generation of Doctor Who that I ever watched.
Yeah, he's a little more current than that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say so. The second episode, second TV series is going to be Bob's Burgers, hands down.
Bob's Burgers.
Oh
Interesting.
My God. It was a toss-up between Bob's Burgers and What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay.
Just for sheer hilarity. I mean, it is the fact that it takes place in Jersey, and
I wasn't aware that it took place in Jersey. Okay, that'll explain the humor.
Yep, it takes place in Jersey, and it's just so perfect as a dad dealing with kids and an eccentric wife and an eccentric. Oh my God! Let me take another sip. Hold on.
You got to balance it out. Yeah, there you go.
Eccentric wife and friends. It's just one great episode after another, and then finally, I think I labored with this one. All-time favorite is going to be The Love Boat for me.
The Love Boat. That's
soon we'll be making...
play. No, that
was
Fantasy Island was the plane.
Yeah.
Concurrently, they just did the same exact thing. One was on a boat, one was on an island.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you had Hervé Villechaize as Tattoo,
right,
and Ricardo Montalban as your host.
But then you had Captain Steubing, Gavin McLeod from the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Yep.
And there was Gopher. There was
and the judge from he was the judge also from Caddyshack.
The judge from Caddyshack. Wait a second.
Yep.
Who?
I didn't want to.
Ted Knight was the.
Oh, you're right, Ted Knight. Oh,
that was the judge from Caddyshack.
Oh my God, that was too close for comfort.
Hey, I'm no slouch. Hey, I'm no regular slouch. Hey, don't sell yourself short. You're an incredible slouch.
You're an incredible slouch.
No, Gavin McLeod was from Steubing.
Yeah, you're right.
He was from Mary Tyler Moore.
Mary Tyler Moore.
And what was the I can't remember the name of. Oh God, I'm skipping.
So we've got Gopher.
Who was the bartender?
Isaac.
Isaac was the best.
Williams. I think it was Isaac Williams.
And Julie was the purser.
No, Gopher was your yeoman purser Smith.
He was the other person. She was the events director or something like that.
Events director, activities director.
Activities director, Julie. That was a great show because they got so. Both those had the same idea. Let's just take a whole bunch of stars, bring them in, give them a character, and put them in a almost Three's Company type of situation to begin with,
Right?
And see how they work out of it.
What another great show, Three's Company. Oh my god!
Oh, the Regal. I love walking around seeing people wearing Regal Beagle T-shirts.
I have one.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm not surprised about that. I keep thinking about I might need to get one of those.
So in Ephesus in Turkey, I've got that Regal Beagle T-shirt on, the green one with the Regal Beagle.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, you're talking about the golden age of, well, maybe it was the Bronze Age or whatever we call it now of television, 70s and 80s television.
That's awesome. I love that list. Mine. Of course. Well, we always have honorable mentions. And I can never stick to one honorable mention. I actually have 3 honorable mentions for this before I get into my top 3.
What the hell is going on with my camera?
I don't know. I think this is trippy as hell. I think there's nothing wrong. I think you and I have just had too much to drink, and we're both hallucinating the same thing. That you're just this floating head now.
Yeah,
it's like you're the Great Wizard of Oz.
I was gonna say, yeah.
But honorable mention, I have to go back to my childhood. 3 times a day, you could watch Brady Bunch.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I did watch it 3 times a day. So that's one. One a little more newer. This is taking 2 comic geniuses and slamming them together with a younger star, and that's Only Murders in the Building. Steve Martin Short together, and then you throw in I'm forgetting her name now. You're like, really? They're going to put her in there? But then when you see the chemistry that she has, it's just
she has that great chemistry of being able to level them, bring them back to reality.
She's their foil.
Oh my God, Martin Short and Steve Martin are just an incredible duo. Ever since the Three Amigos, they've been unstoppable.
Oh, yeah. Yes, they're just. I just call him Steve Martin Short. It's just one person now, right? I almost had her name at the tip of my tongue right there.
Selena Gomez,
and what a talent! She's fantastic on that show.
Yep.
Her nasally voice annoys me every now and then, but other than that, fantastic. One more honorable mention before I go, because Efren and I both mentioned how big sci-fi nerds we are, and one of my favorite sci-fi shows ever on TV back in the day was Stargate. I just love the whole concept of it. They jumped the shark a couple of times on the show. They brought in a couple of people from Farscape to try to revive the show after MacGyver left.
That was a great show. Farscape was an awesome show.
Farscape was such an underrated show. People didn't give it the chance to seriously Muppets.
Yep.
It gets to the point you don't see them as Muppets anymore. They were full blown characters. Pilot and Sparky. He called him Sparky.
Yep.
And Brown, his character. That was great. But we'll get now into my top 3. Now I've got to remember my top 3. I've got the honorable mentions, and I've got to remember a top. I'm going to do it because I know I texted you what I was going to do. I can go back and look at it and go, oh, yeah, shit, of course. So my number 3 is MASH.
Oh, that was such a great show.
MASH, I think, was one of the greatest shows ever filmed. You look at now and you realize, what a liberal leaning it had. But even so, the show taught compassion. The show taught understanding. The show taught that people are human beings, and we're going to do extraordinary things under extraordinary circumstances.
Yep.
It was so human, and they couldn't. It was really about Vietnam, but it was too soon for them to say that. So that's why they said it in Korea. But they based it off the movie, that's what the movie was about. movie was about Vietnam.
Right. Well, I mean, you talk about like one of the in the first couple seasons where the colonel gets to go home and he dies.
Yeah, his plane goes down.
Plane goes down. And then you look at the last episode when Hawkeye, they never talked about it when Vietnam or any soldier since. I mean, I don't think they've, we're a great country of Americans who will sacrifice themselves willingly for life, liberty, and the pursuit of freedom.
Right.
But when they come back home and they are damaged,
Yeah.
right, and they are left unprotected, they become the homeless.
Yeah.
The majority of all of our homeless tend to be, a lot of our American veterans, and that last episode when you see Hawkeye telling that woman to silence that rooster, or
the chicken. Yeah, it was the chicken,
right?
But it wasn't where he's talking to Stanley,
right? And you realize at the end, oh my God, this woman sacrificed her child to keep them safe, right? I mean, that was just like kind of like the cherry on the ice cream that said, America, you got to do a better job of protecting your veterans.
And that episode, So Long and Farewell, it was called, had the highest viewership until I forget which Super Bowl, but it was many Super Bowls before its record. No, I think before that. But it was the highest rated television show for a long time.
Yep.
That's how beloved that show was. So that was my number.
God, yeah.
That's my number 3.
I mean, not to date myself, I remember as a kid growing up in JP, sitting in the living room with my parents, watching the news and seeing the video recording of maybe that same day of some kind of military action happening in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And seeing the wounded being transported into the choppers. It's kind of, I think our generation has had the privilege of experiencing multiple, wars and seeing how it has affected our veterans and never seeing it change.
And the one thing a lot of people don't realize, I forget what the number is. Somewhere I have a patch with this number on this because I was involved with the I forget their name. They do the Ride for Freedom. It's a motorcycle group, and they had me speak at one of their rallies once.
Wow.
But they gave me a patch, and the patch has a number on it. And it's the number of veterans that commit suicide on a daily basis, and one's too many, and it's an epidemic. The country needs to do better by our veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Once they've done their duty and come home, they abandon them.
I mean, that's where, for me, whenever I see a veteran, either like when you're driving on the highway and you see that veteran plate, and I could be stressed out of my mind, I could be trying to get to where I need to be, and I'm flashing high beams to get everybody out of my way. The moment I come up on a veteran plate, no, I back out, I go around them, and I give them, because
to respect their due.
Yeah, and that's I'm not saying that that's kind of like the best I can do. I just look at it as, they deserve so much, so much.
Absolutely. Amen to that. Absolutely. Now that we've brought it down quite a bit, I'm gonna move on to my number 2.
But some of my best drinking friends are vets, so
they can drink. They can drink. See, they were trained to drink. My number 2, back to my sci-fi roots, Andor, and We started talking about this where you've only seen the first season.
I've only seen the first season, and that was unbelievable.
The one thing, if anybody who hasn't seen Andor, you don't have to be a sci-fi geek to appreciate this show. You've got two of the greatest soliloquies ever given in television happen on this. One is Stellan Skarsgård. What did I give up? What did I sacrifice? And he starts it calmly, and then it starts to simmer, and then it starts to build. And by the time he's done, it is goosebumps. The performance he puts into that one speech. If you don't watch anything from Andor, Google Stellan Skarsgård's speech in Andor. And
Skarsgård, but that Skarsgård, that one is epic.
And then Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis also gives a speech where he's over an intercom where he's telling everybody that they need to leave the facility, and he starts off so tentative, and then just the passion starts to build. It's basically the same framework, but it's also given very, very well. It's one of my favorite things that Andy Serkis said. No, it's not. It's not my favorite thing Andy Serkis has ever done because he did Gollum. But man, this was without being on green screen and wearing a suit with little balls all over it. Where you're actually looking at Andy himself. This is one of my favorite on-screen presences he's ever had as himself. Was in Andor, and that's in the first season. And as great as that first season is, Efren, the second season gets even better. Oh, the second season is what television should be, how things should be written. It's fantastic. But my number one, and I think it's funny because I introduced Carrie to it. We just got done yesterday binging the whole season, the whole series, all 8 seasons of it. The West Wing.
Yes.
Aaron Sorkin,
my God.
Aaron Sorkin was a fucking genius. They mastered the walk and talk. If you cannot watch this with somebody who talks during a show, it is too fast. There's too much going on. They're throwing so much information at you. Aaron Sorkin's genius is that he trusts his viewer.
Oh my
God!
To
keep up and understand what's going on. He trusts the viewer to be intelligent. And it worked. And I think it's one of the most geniusly written and performed TV shows ever.
Yep.
The pace of the show is exhausting.
Exactly. I mean, it's so fast-paced. But I mean, one of my favorite episodes on that series was when he decides to run for president, and it's that long silence. There's this storm happening outside. It's like,
you mean the second run or the first run?
The second run.
The second run, where he knows his wife's going to kill him.
Exactly,
because he's promised Abby he's not going to run for.
He's not going to run, but he knows. Even in his first run, just like that whole all of the picking out Toby, picking out him all, picking out his team was epic.
Yeah.
But that second running, and then you get that song in the background. To me, it was like it's up there with Miami Vice.
W. Snuffy Walden, that's his theme.
Yep,
that's the guy who wrote it. Yep.
It's the same to me, that same epic moment like in Miami Vice when you've got Tubbs and Crockett. They're in the Corvette and they're going to do something terrible, and you've got Genesis playing in the background. Right? I mean,
oh, absolutely.
That is that epic fucking moment in a show.
And the funny thing is, to give you an idea of how great a director and writer that Sorkin was and how well this was all done, before she watched this series, Carrie had no respect for Rob Lowe. 4 episodes in, she's like, he's so good in this.
Oh my God.
One thing was pointed out, though, and I noticed immediately, like, wait a second, his shirts are monogrammed. I get that. Sam Seaboard, his middle name's Nathan.
Yep.
So he's got S and S, but in the monogram, your last name's the biggest letter and it's in the middle. It should have been SSN. They screwed up the damn monogram, and it bothers me every time I watch and I see that shirt. It's like, it's like, it's a nitpick, but yeah, they screwed up his monogram.
Yeah, he's part of our generation that is ageless.
Oh, absolutely ageless, and it's just one of those. We all hated him because he was so freaking good looking with that chiseled chin and everything.
Still great looking.
To this day, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Please. Age, find him. Please find him.
See, I don't mind. I credit myself with having that same chiseled look, but it's rounded.
But you covered it. You've covered. That's what it is.
No,
you covered it to make it fair to the rest of the people on the planet.
Yeah, I didn't think it was fair. I didn't think it was fair.
I don't mind Paul Rudd being timeless because he doesn't have that chiseled chin. But please catch up. Catch up to Roblo.
Oh my God, that's funny.
At any rate, any parting shots you have, Efren? Anything else you need to add before we sign off?
I'm just going to say, you know what? Please continue to visit and support our local craft brewing and distilleries. Without your support, we wouldn't be here. And you know what? Remember all of the great brewers and breweries that have come before us. They're the ones that have laid down the groundwork for our success.
Absolutely. And I need to get up in winter when the market's going inside. Because I also need to get up because there was, what do they call them? Honey nut squash.
Oh.
We don't get that here.
What? In Jersey, you don't get honey nut squash?
It's a Rhode Island thing. It's straight up a Rhode Island thing. And I need to get some. I keep telling Carrie about this honey nut squash, and I need to find someone to get some here because it is the best of both acorn and butternut in one squash.
Don't worry.
Oh God, you need to get some of that stuff. But I need to get up there again, visit Efren again, see what he's up to, and everything that's going on up there. So now we're gonna do
part of this.
We're gonna do something here, which I've never done before. And I usually try to rate John on this, and this is the outro. The outro is this one long spiel. So we'll see if I can get through this. So it's like, we're going to wrap up the show. Efren, thanks so much for being on the show. It's always great to see you.
Same here. Thank you.
Really need to have you on again. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And those listening to the audio, thank you for listening. Visit our website at the www.thelagerroom.com. That's THELAGERROOM. Like us and follow us on all our social media, which is Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube. Those are all at The Lager Room. We go live with a video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch every Tuesday around 6:30. We actually kicked off a little early this week. This is a new one. If you want to listen, you can do so on our audio host Spreaker as well. iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Pandora, Amazon Music, iTunes Music, YouTube Music, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes, and pretty much anywhere that you can find podcasts, you're going to find the Lager, guys. Subscribe and follow us.
And Woolworth and Wilco.
Which one?
Woolworth and Wilco.
I haven't heard of that one. We're going to look into that one.
It's not. It's an old department store.
I was going to say Woolworth, I know, but Wilco?
Yeah, Woolworth and Wilco, the 5 and dime.
I remember the Woolworth 5 and dime. I don't remember the Wilco part. Interesting. Yeah. But subscribe and follow us on any and or all of those services, and you will never miss a show. Thanks for following along with us. You have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink local. And as we've said before, drink legacy brands when you can. Once a month. That's all we ask. Drink lots of beer. Drink responsibly. Don't do anything stupid. Again, Efren, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time. It's always great talking to you.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you so much for your time.
And for everybody else, thank you so much. And we will talk to you next week.